It's great to see a full house tonight. I'm going to call this November 27th, 2023 Sylvania Board of Education meeting to order. You call the roll, please.
Ms. Hoffman?
Here.
Mrs. Conklin?
Here.
Mrs. Lavalette?
Here.
Mr. Feller?
Here.
Mrs. Johnson?
Here. If you can stand and join me for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we are starting out with you, Dr. Motley.
Thank you, Ms. Conklin. Good evening, everyone. This is an exciting room tonight. We have some folks here to celebrate recognition of achievement of some of our students and employees. I will recommend for approval item 2.1, which includes the following. We have students here that have ACT scores, as noted, of 26 or higher. That test date was October 28th. And we also have several students also who scored higher than a 600 on the SAT, and that test date was October 7th. In addition, we have Lisa Weimer, who is here this evening on behalf of Lisa and her colleague Denise Eitner. We are really recommending a commendation for these two individuals because they are brave souls, just brave souls. If you can come on up here, Lisa. For those of you who may not already know this, a few weeks back there was a fire at Northview High School, and it takes an unusual amount of courage to not run away from the fire, but to run toward a fire in order to save lives, to make sure the building is safe and all those around. So Lisa, thank you, and thank you also to Denise, who was unable to be here tonight. So as a colleague, she's representing both, but thank you for being so brave and so conscientious and making sure that people got out safely and putting out the fire. I don't know if I would have did that. I would have ran the other way and started screaming. So we appreciate you, and on behalf of the Board of Education, we are offering you this certificate tonight. We will send Denise Eitner's paper directly. Eitner, right, yeah. We will send hers separately, but thank you for coming here, and thank you for what you do for Sylvania Schools each and every day. But you are great. Appreciate you so much. In addition, we have Maddie Paisley. Is she here tonight? Come on up, Maddie. Congratulations. We are, on the behalf of the Board of Education, giving you a special commendation. Maddie is hereby commended by the Sylvania Board of Education for the Ohio High School Athletic Association State Tennis Qualifier, second team, All Ohio. Look at you. That's fantastic. Congratulations. And we also are recognizing Southview senior Darren Uphold. He's also hereby commended by the Board of Education.
He's on his way.
Is he on his way?
He's on his way. Him and his mom drove separate because mom's got to go to the airport to pick up dad. He went to Turkey for the weekend to go see his family. And I don't know that Darren actually knew how to get here.
Well, no worries, because our board accommodates students first. So you know what?
So hopefully any minute. His sister's here, but I think
Want to
that's
do
right.
photos? Yeah, we'll go out and do photos with the folks who are here, and we'll press pause, and that'll buy a little time. I'm sure the board doesn't mind that. We'll go out and do some pictures real quick. Will you join me? And we will wait for Darren. Thank you. You couldn't stand in for it.
Family wants to take pictures too, that's fine.
Yeah, if you want to take some snaps,
Then you're welcome to stay or head out.
Can you
Yeah. Both years will travel.
I like the beard.
Yeah. He's scruffy. He's 30 and they
It will be riveting, I will tell you.
5-year forecast. You're gonna love it.
One of the best parts about being a superintendent right there. I would like to recommend item 2.1, recognition of achievement for those that we mentioned.
I'll move approval. Any questions? Congratulations, everybody.
See you later.
Call the roll?
Julie?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Lorraine?
Yes.
Moving on, I will move on to item 3.1, my superintendent's report. I'm happy to share that we continue to take applications for our master plan for our facilities. If you are interested in serving on that committee, you can click on our website and apply to serve on the committee. We as a district and as the Board of Education are thrilled at the opportunity that we have to embark upon this 18-month process to look at our current state of our school buildings and where we need to move forward in regards to space and learning environments and making sure that our students have the best learning environment moving forward into the 21st century and beyond. So we are thrilled about bringing that opportunity to the Sylvania schools and the community in general. So stay tuned as we embark down the journey that will really be a layout or a GPS, if you will, for what our buildings look like in the future. In addition, we have a couple of agenda items on the board agenda tonight for approval, more specifically as we address our athletic facilities. You'll see a couple of resolutions on there, but I want to again share with our community and those who are here in the room or maybe watching later that we are thrilled to be able to address some of the current needs that are pretty urgent in some regard in regards to our athletic facilities. More specifically, we will be tearing down the beloved Northview Stadium. I say beloved. Why are people laughing when I say beloved? It is definitely out of necessity that we are addressing that facility, and we're again thrilled to be able to address it for the students that are not only currently at Northview, but those who will be joining the Wildcats for years to come, and our parents and community. We are also looking to place a track at Northview. That's also been a need that's long time coming, and we are glad that we are able to provide funding to make sure that we have a track at Northview for our students. Northview and Southview and our community are the beacons of Sylvania. If you live in the township or the city, it is a beacon for Northwest Ohio. So we will also be replacing the turf at Southview, another great opportunity. From what I've heard, some people have said it's been a joke that there is a Volkswagen buried under the football field because it's crowned so high. But we will start with Southview as well, based upon board approval. I'm not trying to preempt the board, but we are going to embark upon this journey. And I will say one thing about this, especially with Southview, you may, if the board goes ahead and approve, not preempting the board, but if it is approved, you can see equipment showing up as early as tomorrow, potentially, just so you know. In Northview, you won't be too far behind, from what I understand, and speaking with our architects, could be sometime this week or early next week. So stay tuned. We will be sharing communication with our families and our students, in addition to our community again about the upgrades and enhancements to our athletic facilities. Also, Southview, you'll be getting a track too that will be resurfaced, already in place, but will be resurfaced. So we're showing love to both of our Wildcats and our Cougar families. So we're all looking forward to that. Something else I would like to share under my superintendent's report is that I had the pleasure of attending the Northview musical. SpongeBob! It was fantastic. You did so well. Tressel, you did fantastic. It was great. I was talking to Ms. Hoffman about it earlier today, but it was just a delight to see so many of our students involved, the choreography, the costumes, the music, just the presence, how people can stay in character for so long and never break. So we have such a great performing arts community, but to know that we have students that are doing so well. I've been to Broadway only once, but I gotta tell you, you guys are ready. You're ready. I'm telling you, you're ready. You're ready for Broadway. But it was just a fantastic show. It's just so great to see so many students actively involved. I mean, the students that were playing instruments and the crew on the stage, moving out scenery. I mean, it's a production. And so just kudos to Northview and the students in the performing arts and the actors. I mean, it was just amazing. The other thing I wanted to highlight is I read to a third grade class last week over at Central Trail. It was Miss Long's third grade class, and I had such a blast doing it. I actually signed up for a second time because I had so much fun. It's so important for me to be in classrooms with children and to talk to them and get to know what they're doing and how they're learning and what they're learning. It's just a real bucket filler. So a special thank you to Ms. Long for the invitation and allowing me to come in and read to her students. And also, Ms. Addington and I are in the throes of selecting art for the annual Superintendent's Art Show. We were at a couple of buildings last week. We have more buildings this week and next week, I do believe. If you were not aware, at the request of some of our educators, the Superintendent's Art Show has moved. Typically, it's been in May, but this year it will be held January 11th from 6 to 7:30, and I believe same location at the library on the corner of King and Sylvania. King and Sylvania, is that right? Is that correct? Okay, great. So that's my superintendent's report. Ms. Conklin, thank you.
Thank you very, very much. All right, this is the first opportunity for public participation for items that are on our agenda.
We do not have any. Darren is here.
Oh, Darren is here.
Darren!
There
Hi,
he is.
Darren! I know Darren very well.
We went to South Holland, Sylvania Road. Not
Oh.
North Holland, Sylvania.
That's okay.
Thanks for
He's
sharing,
here
right?
now. Darren, I've been spending a lot of time with you. It's just you were my student advisory group at Northview. And this is the second year, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I thought. I'm sorry, Southview, not Northview, Southview. I did two of them, Southview. So it's good to see you again, young man. Come on up here a little closer. Darren is commended by the Sylvania Board of Education for participating at the Ohio High School Athletic Association Cross Country State Meet. How fast did you run?
I ran 16:09.
Wow, really? That's fast. That's really fast. And a long way. That's a long distance and really fast. That's great. Well, congratulations on the board, on behalf of the board. Here's a certificate for you.
Thank you very much.
And we always Or do you mind if we take a photo opportunity? Got to take pictures. This is the first time. Yeah, come along.
Gotta show you to be young again. Okay, where were we? No public comment on the agenda, I think is what she said. So then we are going to move on to you, Mr. Koch.
All right, so I'll do first approval, and then I'll do a quick presentation on the forecast. So 5.1 minutes from October 23rd. Tamir's not here, so stay along. You guys want to do that?
Okay. Any questions? All right, call the roll.
Greg? Julie? Tammy? Joe?
Yes.
And Kim.
Yes.
So 5.2 is treasurer's report. 5.3 is the availability of funds, just 2 this month, and then 5.4 is my forecast. So go over the forecast with you. I presented it, or I sent it in an email, and then I have it printed out, the document that I will put on our website. It's the document that's actually submitted, called the notes to the forecast. So I thought I would take this time to go over a few highlights and answer any questions that you may have. So second page is the actual forecast, which is not in this presentation, but it does look a little bit better than last year. We did get, I won't go into detail why, but we did get that additional revenue from the state of Ohio in the first year of their budget. And interest rates continue to be favorable on our behalf as well. So those are the two main areas on our forecast. So executive summary there just goes over the forecast. You've seen this document before, but I just wanted to throw in for any community members that will be looking at this document, just to kind of give you a financial year-end review from last year, showing our total revenue expenses, and then our fund balance history from 19 to 20. Again, kind of background information for the reader, where our money comes from, and then a 3-year history. Obviously, the bulk of our money at Sylvania, and has been for a very long time, is real estate, and then the next being the state of Ohio. And again, the state of Ohio increase was about $3 million this year, so it's still roughly about 20% of our revenues. So then give you a little overview of the entire revenue stream and what I'm projecting. You'll see the history there of 21 to 23, and then down there with 24 through 28. So overall revenues are projected to go up about 4.46% this year, down a little bit the following year, and then pretty steady, just about a 1% increase going forward. So the next few slides I'll go into detail every revenue line item. All the slides are relatively the same, just gives you a little pie chart of each revenue line item compared to our total revenues, and then my forecasted total. So these are property taxes. All of our property tax levies are permanent, so there's no real renewals that will need to happen, so relatively steady revenue stream for us. So on average about 1.4% there. Really every year, as every 3 years is a reappraisal or full reevaluation. An additional increase in revenue in this line item is generally for new construction, delinquent collections, and then we collect on that increased assessed value from our inside mills. So that's why it's not, taxes locally could go up, next reappraisal by say 20%, counties around us, that's what's happening. But with our voted mills, it'll actually just reduce our effective tax rate, it's called, so we won't see a huge spike in revenue from our property tax from any variations in assessed value. So I believe our revenues will increase about 1.4% on average here throughout the life of the forecast. Tangible personal property is just public taxes on public utilities, gas, electric, telephone lines. You'll see there in 2025, I think that we will increase 8% because they are voted for tangible personal property. We actually collect on the full voted rate of our property, of our levies. In 2025, we should collect based on the 2024 reevaluation of Lucas County. And the last time we had a reevaluation, that next year our revenues did increase at 8%. So that's why I think we'll get a little bit of bump there. And then based on the past history of our collections, it'll be about 3% every year after that. Unrestricted, 1.035 is our line item for state foundation payments, and a little bit of this line item makes up our casino revenue, which is about $525,000 roughly. You'll see in 2024 we're about 16% increase in collections there. This is as a direct result of the state budget and the increase that we received from the state of Ohio. They did send out projections on our 2025 collections, which will be, there was a little bit of a change so our collections will go down a little bit next year, but again, overall, over the 2-year period, it is a significant increase to our budget. And then this is where, I put in a 3% increase in 26, 27, and 28. I will say that's really kind of throwing a dart on the wall. I believe based on the last 6 years of history, it's where I kind of went off of. We have seen an increase, so I believe that, with the economy in the state of Ohio, revenue collections continue to be up. The overall budget of the state of Ohio continues to be strong. So that's why we increased to 3% there for the last 3 years of the budget. Restricted grants and aids, this is career tech funding, gifted, economically disadvantaged, English language learners, those line items there. Again, significant increase in 24, and then a small increase for the remainder of the forecast. Now, our enrollment and our student population for EL, economically disadvantaged, continue to go up. I believe this revenue line item could continue to kind of maybe even go up a little bit more because it is based on our student population in those categories. So I feel confident about these numbers. State share of local property taxes, the state made like a law change on this. It used to be, it's basically homestead and rollback. It used to be called something different, but now they wanted to make sure everyone knew this is the state share of our property taxes. So, pretty much 10% reduction. The rollback is a 10% reduction in taxes charged against the real property, and the state then reimburses us. Homestead property is for homeowners that occupies a primary residence, so this qualifies each homeowner for a 2.5 portion of this tax being paid from the state and not the homeowner. This has not changed in several years, so I predicted, we have 1/2 of our 2024 payment, which was up a little bit, so it's just a 0% increase because it has not changed historically in the last several years. So this is a big line item that has increased the last couple of years. This line item is made up of interest revenue, tuition from other districts for special ed students, Medicaid reimbursements, and a little bit of school fees as well. So 2024, Medicaid changed, the state of Ohio changed how they pay schools through Medicaid reimbursements. So we're going to get an extra payment this year, which contributes pretty significantly to overall on a percentage basis to our revenue in this line item. And the next line item that we're kind of monitoring and predict in the next 6 months it should stay steady is our interest rate collections. They're going to be up over 1.5 million this year. And put in perspective, and I said this to you last year, like 2 years ago, we only collected about 200,000. So with our increase of our fund balance and our investment strategy with Fifth Third, we're seeing a significant increase, and then we're buying very, obviously very secured investments, bonds, things like that. But we're laddering them out, so we're hoping 25, 26, 27 will continue to collect some, higher than average interest rate revenue on those items. So that's why you'll see the decrease moving forward is like we'll talk about our fund balance next year is predicted to go down. So as we move forward throughout the forecast, our fund balance will go down, less money to invest, and interest rates will decline. So that is why you see the negative percentages moving forward from 25 to 28. So then all other financing sources, transfer advances, refunds from prior years, very small number there. We'll talk about that. But, so overall 2.08 is our total revenue forecasted line item. You'll see in there, overall, we're anticipating a 4.4% increase, and then relatively small increases moving forward. So about 101 million and only going up to about 106 million in 5 years. So very small increases there. The expense summary, just again, a quick overview. Obviously, we're in the people business. Salaries and benefits make up about 85% of our budget. And then this goes forth, there's a 3-year history there. Very, relatively small increases in the last 3 years with our expenses. So, again, give you a little summary of just the totals you'll see in there. We are expecting about a 7.98% increase there, about 8% increase in 2024, and that will decrease in the future years, so about a 4% increase each year from 25 to 28. So salaries and benefits. Salaries is this line item. It's about 61% of our overall budget this year. Just like it says, wages, overtime, supplemental, coaches pay. We pay about 1,000 people every 2 weeks, so obviously it's going to be a significant number to our overall budget. We have used federal grant dollars in the last couple of years to offset some expenses. We have added some things, but we've also used it for continuity of services. So you'll see that next year, you see that 6.23% increase. We will need to bring some salaries over that we have been paying through the ESSER funds and moving back to the general fund. So those are in there, and that's why you see that line item bump up in 2025. But again, enrollment projections we believe are going to increase a little bit each year. And our preschool and special education enrollment continues to trend upward as well. So that is why, as a part of our reason why of our increase of our staffing the last couple of years. We have settled our union agreements for 3 years, so 24 marks the first year of our union agreements. So we have our salaries set in stone from 24 through 26. Retirement and insurance benefits, on average, you'll see on there about a 5% increase. Retirement benefits make up about 45% of this line item. So as our salaries increase over time through raises and step increases, obviously the retirement benefits increase in a direct correlation with those increases. I wish I could take credit for this as I'm new, but you guys have done a phenomenal job with our medical insurance premiums over the last several years. We've had a 0% increase in 22 and 23, and this year was able to negotiate, this is our last year of our contract, we had a cap of 8%, and we were able to negotiate it down to 5%. So over a 3-year period, medical insurance premiums only going up 5% is really phenomenal in this rate environment that we currently have experienced throughout Ohio and the entire nation. So again, some of those insurance benefits from paid through ESSER will come back to the general fund as well. Purchase services, technology, internet services, utilities, a lot of special education related services, College Credit Plus, and repairs and maintenance make up this line item. We're looking at about an 8% increase this year, and then I did forecast 3.5% increase moving forward. The bulk of this, is 21% of this line item makes up special education, transportation, and tuition and other related services. So that is one thing that we're obviously monitoring, and a lot of it is out of our control. But we are doing everything we can to maintain our level of spending when it comes to special education. Again, maintenance, repairs of our buildings, another big line item here. We have, it's a huge asset to us, and we want to invest in our buildings and protect these assets. So we continue to invest dollars in our maintenance related repairs to our buildings. Supplies and materials, obviously general and instructional supplies, technology, software, related expenses, bus fuel here. So I did list a lot of our large expenses that make up the majority of this line item. Our bus fuel, for perspective, is over $500,000. Custodial maintenance supplies over $1 million here. bus parts. I mean, our fleet is 93 buses, or 90 some buses, which is expensive to maintain. But a new bus is $130,000 now. So just 5 years ago, they were 90. I mean, so costs are going up in our transportation. So. And then capital outlay, very small expense, because a lot of our expenses come from our permanent improvement fund. But our buses, a lot of our HVAC equipment comes out of our permanent improvement fund. So very small line item here. Principal and interest, 2014, you guys did a energy conservation loan, so this is paid out of the general fund and will be paid off in 2029. So next forecast, we'll start to see at the end of our forecast this line item go away, so which will be a positive outcome for our fund balance. Other objects, very, very minimal expenses here, memberships, insurance. The bulk of it is our Lucas County collection fees, so we collect our property taxes, we record it at gross, and obviously there's a fee that the county puts on us to collect these fees. So. It transfers out, this is a couple years ago or last year, before I got here, Jeff and Cajun did start a severance fund, so we transfer every year dollars into our severance fund to kind of just use it easier to budget. So that's about $700,000. This year it's going to be $600,000 into our severance fund, and then there's a $2 million transfer from our general fund to our PI fund for some of those facility capital improvements that Dr. Motley talked about earlier with our bleachers and our tracks. So that is on there for 2024 to utilize and to use our fund balance that we have saved up, and that would be a one-time expense there in 2024. So their overall expenses for our general fund, we're looking at about an 8% increase this year, which is if you take the $2 million out that we're transferring to PI, it would fall in line with about 4% or 5%. So it's not, that's why you'll see the jump there, and then about a 4.1% increase moving forward on average. So obviously I mentioned earlier about our insurance. This is a year 3 of our medical insurance, so we will be working this year and putting an RFP out for our health insurance, which is it's a big task and something that we will get, hopefully get a lot of quotes in to continue to provide, the great care to our employees, but also do everything we can to save money. So that's going to be a little bit of a project for Dr. Motley and I and Josh. So we're going to be working on that here shortly. So I just wanted to put, kind of our, revenues and expenses, and then this is our fund balance projections. So I just wanted to put it in a graph form. You'll see there the orange line is our expenses, blue line revenue, and then you'll see our fund balances moving forward. Going forward. So as I mentioned last year, and it continues to hold true, predicted that our fund balance and starting in fiscal year 2025, we'd be operating on a slight deficit. So that means our expenses will outpace our revenues starting next fiscal year, which again, it's a little bit less than I thought based on the additional revenue from the state of Ohio. So our forecast doesn't look a little bit better than last year at this time. So then I just closed up with a little thank you to our community. So overall, the 2025 forecast, again, I mentioned start our deficit spending, which is about $2.5 million over in our fund balance. Next year will be about 35 million as a fund balance. So our cash reserves are strong. I do think that we need to continue to look at all areas of our operations and tighten our belt up a little bit and do all we can to decrease that fund balance projection that we have next year. Obviously without impacting our students and our staff as best as possible. We have phenomenal programming here. Our course selections are incredible for our kids, and we don't want to see that. We don't want to see that decline. So, but we do need to continue to look at all aspects of our business. See if we can get that $2.5 million deficit down.
Adam, do we collect any money or receive any money from our casinos in Ohio at all?
Yeah, we collect about $525,000.
Annually?
They come in two payments, one in July, August-ish, and then in spring.
And is it restricted or is that?
Yeah,
we
no,
don't-
understood.
Restricted. I heard you mention something about it, but I wasn't sure. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I mean, other than like tightening up our belts, we have a plan to kind of deal with this deficit spending.
Yeah, I mean,
That's stressing me out.
Yeah, no, I mean, at this point, I would say, I'll just be honest with you, no. But I think in the next couple months, I think we come together and we talk about that and develop a plan to see what we can do.
So I mean, other than, $2.5 million is a lot of belt tightening. So we're gonna probably deficit spend next year, just a matter of how much, even if we belt tighten. So we are looking at the L word down the line.
I mean, is that the word you're not saying right now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need to say, right now, let's do that, but I think that we put a little working group together and see what we can do to decrease that. I mean, again, you guys have done a phenomenal job of having a fund balance of $37 million, which allows us to go a couple of years, but I don't think you want to go a couple of years, without doing all we can first. I think our community deserves that. I think we do everything we can first before we ask.
I mean, we did a resolution, I think we did we're here for a resolution to keep so much in that fund balance.
Yeah.
We're trying to, so let me ask you this, I know we've talked about like doing self-funding being an option on the benefits, because I know that that's a huge thing, and
Yep.
we have, will that save us money? I mean, I'm
You
not
know,
sure
so
that'll
that-
save us $2.5 million.
No, that
but-
will save us down the road. I don't think that's an instant savings, if you will. The savings, again, we have 3 years of our union agreements, the health actual plan itself, without without having our unions agree to changes there. Those plans are what they are. But I think that it's a 3 to 5 year savings. It could potentially be, but we're hoping to work with some consultants and things to help us get there and do things that don't impact our members that we could do to save some money. And there's a lot of programs out there, so we're exploring all options there.
And the ESSER funds those are going, right?
Yep.
So I guess.
This will be our last year.
Right, so I guess I'd be curious, because I know throughout the last several years, like, paying for this with ESSER funds and it would go away, so I guess I'd want to see, like, what were those things,
Yeah.
you know?
I could get you guys.
You know,
on this.
you're saying, okay, that's gonna transfer to the general fund, so.
So there's several positions that we put in ESSER that were not. It was just continuity of services. We're allowed to do that through the grant. So a lot of the bulk of those salaries were just current staff members that we have, but we just moved them over for a couple of years and moved them back. There were some new positions in there, social worker, assistant principals, those types of things.
Were those the projected increase in personnel costs that went for this year and next year that went beyond there was like 4% for the next 4 years? Was that due to the shifting? Yes or
Yes.
Okay.
That's why if you go to here,
Yeah, right there.
you'll look at next year, it's up 6.2%.
Because the ESSER.
Because the ESSER goes.
Way
Yep.
shifting.
Yep, and same with benefits, so next year it's 6.2 predicted, and then, only 5
Is 5% the forecasted increased cost of health insurance benefits?
It's health insurance, retirements, and, you know.
Okay. So we could do better than that potentially.
Potentially.
Well, it's a beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
Dressed out. It's very colorful and nice.
I like the fact, Adam, that you take very difficult information and make it easy to understand
really do.
in layman terms, so thank you.
I feel like we could probably quiz Trestle right now, and he could probably answer some questions about the 5-year forecast.
I just.
Which it took me a couple of years to be able to do.
Thank you.
Good presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sam. Oh, and you need
Yeah.
you need a,
Consent 5.2 to 5.4.
I would move that we approve on a consent agenda basis items 5.2 through 5.4.
A second.
Any questions or comments, other than thank you? Okay, call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we are back to you, Dr. Motley.
Thank you. I recommend item 6.1. We have had some generous donations come our way as noted on our board agenda. The first one is a donation of hair color products valued at $200 to the Northview Cosmetology Program from the Barbara and Barbara Salon. We also have a donation of 386 bottles exactly of gel and regular nail polishes valued at over $1,000 again to the Northview Cosmetology Program from Pretty Nails. And then finally we have a donation of $4,560 to the Sylvan Library from the Kaplan family.
No move approval.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments?
I need to go get my nails done and I want some of that gel
I
polish.
mean, those are, just thank you, those are very generous donations. It's really much appreciated.
Very much. Okay,
Julie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Kim?
yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Thank you. I recommend item 6.2 for approval. One includes the Northview head coach, Kevin Hazel, to accompany 20 students to Worcester, or Wooster, depending where you live, for the Ohio Speech and Debate State Finals on February 29th. And also Northview's head coach, Kevin Hazel, to accompany 15 students to Dublin, Ohio for National Qualifier for Speech and Debate on February 16th to the 17th.
No move approval. Second.
Any questions? Okay, call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Thank you. I recommend item 6.3, which is a memorandum of understanding between the Board of Education and the Sylvania Education Association, recommending this approval in regards to the retire and rehire of our SEA members.
No move approval.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Thank you. I recommend item 6.4, an agreement with the Midwest Regional Educational Service Center to provide related services within an outside placement for a hearing impaired classroom.
No move approval. Second.
Any questions? All right, call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes. Thank you. I recommend item 6.5, payment in lieu for parental contracts for the 23-24 school year as submitted.
No move approval.
I'll second.
Any questions? Okay, call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Thank you. I recommend item 6.6, that we enter into a transportation contract agreement as noted.
I'll move for approval.
A second.
Any questions?
Greg?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
This is a big one. Item 6.7, I recommend the Northview Athletic Facility Project Resolution that will approve a resolution by our Board of Education for declaring urgent necessity and expressing an intent to award a contract, authorizing the president and the treasurer to enter into said contract upon compliance with all conditions precedent related to the Northview Athletic Facilities project per exhibit.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Any questions? Okay, call the roll.
Greg?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes, thank you so very much. I recommend item 6.8, again, that the board approve a resolution expressing an intent to award a contract authorizing the president and the treasurer to enter into said contract upon compliance with all conditions precedent related to the Southview High School Athletic Facilities project per exhibit.
I'll move for approval. I'll second.
Any questions? Okay, call the roll.
Tammy?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Special moment for Sylvania Schools.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're with you, Mr. Tyberski.
Thank you. We'll recommend items 7.1 through 7.4 on a consent agenda basis. 7.1 is a license retirement. I want to thank Larice McMurray, 33 years. The new teacher at Central Trail retired. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
7.2 is unpaid leave. 7.3, licensed substitute teachers. 7.4 is licensed extra duty. That's section 7.
I'll move approval on a consent agenda basis, items 7.1 through 7.4.
Second.
Any questions? Congratulations to Ms. McMurray. Go ahead and call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Thank you. I would like to recommend items 8.1 through 8.6 on a consent agenda basis. 8.1 are for student lifeguards for the 23-24 school year. 8.2 is a couple of retirements. Denise DiGiolamo, I was pronouncing her name, Mitchell Paracord, and Kyle Hensley, athletic secretary. She's been around the district for a while. 26 years of service for Denise, 29 for Kyle. Congratulations to those two. 8.3 classified new hires. 8.4 are classified resignations. 8.5 are classified personnel changes. And 8.6 is our wellness stipend for Central Trail.
I'll move approval on a consent agenda basis, items 8.1 through 8.6.
I'll second.
Any questions?
Tammy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Thank you. I will recommend items 9.1 through 9.3 on a consent agenda basis. 9.1 are supplemental positions for the 23-24 school year. 9.2 are athletic volunteers for the 23-24 school year. And 9.3 is a correction to a previously awarded stipend.
I'll move approval on a consent agenda basis, items 9.1 through 9.3.
I'll second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, now we have board reports. You want to start us off, Mr. Feller?
Sure. The only thing I have is Sage Art. Obviously, we have an appointment to make by the end of the year. In case you know, his term is up. So I just kind of wanted to have a discussion. I know in the past couple of years we've taken applications and sorted through applicants and made an appointment. In this particular case, I know Casey has a very specific financial skill set that is pretty important to the Sage Art board. I know Mike McMahon, the executive director, would like to see Casey stay on. So I just wanted to see what the board's thoughts are on interviews or appointments or.
I mean, I in no way want Casey to not be there. However, we have said we're going to be consistent, and I don't think we can pick and choose based on the person. Like this time, we're going to take applications because I think Mike McMahon reached out about the last person we were interviewing. That, he wanted the appointment to stay the same. We said we have committed to doing it this way for the last few years, and so I think we should be consistent. I would agree.
I The problem that I have with that is that, and the same problem I had when we talked about this before, which was I don't like wasting people's time. And I get the difference here with Casey and his specific skill set. If we go into this with the mindset that we're gonna appoint him and we waste other people's time, I hate doing that. It's kind of why I advocated before that we look at this on a case-by-case, year-by-year basis on what we need to do. And I think, didn't we agree to because Casey's been on for a long time, right? Didn't we agree like we were gonna automatically renew someone that wanted to stay for a second term, or wasn't that? And we never really had a formal resolution, we just
No,
kind
we
of discussed
don't.
it.
Yeah, we kind of talked about, if appointing somebody and then if they want to stay on for the
Right.
next term, kind of an automatic thing, and then maybe,
Do you know how many terms Casey's been on?
I don't.
Do you know if there's any other interest?
I don't.
I mean, I think Casey's been on longer than Dave Spees had been on, for sure. Who else was there? John Priest.
Yeah.
He'd been on as long as I've
Yeah.
been for a long time, so. And I mean, I'm not sure I think we have to cap it, but I think we have to discuss it. I wouldn't say that, it's like, well, I don't want to waste anybody's time either, and I don't think it should be more on that. Hey, like, for sure, we're gonna get it to Casey, but let's let people apply. I mean, but like, the people that we have that have represented us before, I mean, two of them, we have appointed somebody else. And it doesn't mean the two that we didn't appoint weren't incredibly qualified and valuable to SageArt, because I think, like, man would say, I mean, I've never been on SageArt, but I feel like they were very qualified people, and, so, yeah, I don't know.
I think it also gives other people in the community a chance to be on SageArt. There may not be any other interest, in which case Casey would be reappointed anyways, but I think it just gives people in the community that might be interested a chance.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. I mean, I like giving other people a chance, because if we was with the same people all the time, then you don't get a chance to get new people, new blood, new thoughts. So I definitely agree with that and I'm board with that. I'm just, in this very specific case with his skill set, it's very much needed. So that was my only thinking in this particular case is he's got a very specific skill set that is extremely valuable. And I'm not opposed to, going through the process and going out and seeing if there is other interest. My opinion would be it needs to be someone with that skill set. That's just it.
So you want to say specifically it needs to be somebody with
That's just me.
financial
Yeah.
background?
I think so.
I mean, I don't know that is that being, because we get two representatives, right, or three, because we got you two.
Right.
And then
Well,
so it's
we have 3 appointees. plus
Three,
yeah.
yeah, so three, and then the township and city council too. I mean, are they picking people with a specific skill
I
set?
don't know what the other entities are doing. I just know Casey runs the finance committee. He always gets the
And
finance.
listen, Casey's
Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, Casey's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's a great volunteer, and great asset
Right.
to our community. Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, I guess, it just seems to me, and I understand what you're saying, and about, I mean, I know in the past we've looked at wanting to get more diversity on the board, and we accomplished that with one of our appointments. We talked about wanting to allow new people on. And I guess if this person is so valuable, I don't know, I can just see us making an exception, but at the same time, if we want to move forward with, I don't know how everybody's else's thoughts are, the three, I mean, we want to move forward with posting it and taking applications. Do we have to do the appointment, would we have to do it in January or by the end of this year?
I mean, it'd be better by the end of the year, but SageArt's first meeting is until, I think it's the 4th Tuesday in January, so we could do it at a January meeting
Okay,
and have someone in place in time for first meeting in January.
okay.
So I think we have time. I think I heard 3 people say we should probably go for
Okay.
Did you?
applications.
I don't think you said it.
I didn't see anything.
Oh, you did? Oh, I thought you did.
I think you did.
Sorry.
I think it was just us.
I'm struggling with it internally.
Oh,
I think it was just us, and again,
I mean-
I just think we should be consistent, I don't,
Yeah.
because the last time, Mr. McMahon reached out and said, hey, I wanna keep this person, and we said, listen, we committed to doing something a certain way, and, which I think predates even you before, that we stopped doing it just automatically, we knew that whoever was on there, they wanted to, like, for as long as I'm here. So probably 6 years ago, we said, let's not do that. But I think only one time since then did we not follow that procedure, and it was for Casey. Like, we just automatically went for it, we did it too. This is the only one. Our other two seats there, we put both of them on.
Yeah, I know we've done.
Casey's is the only one that we did.
Right, no, I'm fine, I just wanted to have a discussion afterwards. Dr. Malley, I don't think I'll get with you, we can get
Certainly.
stuff out.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Hoffman.
I think Master's Facilities kicking off next month. Sylvania Prevention Alliance did not have a meeting last month because in lieu we did the film festival at Lourdes, which was great. I also got to be a judge on that, and it was actually pretty fun. I mean, short films are pretty entertaining. Also saw SpongeBob, terrific, and also terrific at the film festival for your daughter. Love that one. Foundation, we canceled our meeting 2 weeks ago to do just a nominating committee for the Hall of Fame. Great candidates. I think we're just pinning those down, and the Hall of Fame dinner is March 15th. I think that's it.
Okay.
Oh, I have one more thing. McCord, today I stopped over, they were doing quiz bowl, staff against the students. Stayed for like 15 minutes. It was very entertaining. They were having a great time. And though when I left, the students were winning, but staff didn't. So that would be embarrassing if they did not.
Well, you hold it either way. Either they're really doing their job well.
Teaching them more than they even know.
Right. Okay, so what have I got? SSPO in November, we had a great presentation about the adaptive inclusive playground at Stranahan, and I've seen some posts coming through with some other parent orgs donating to the Stranahan Parent Org, and I just love that. I think it's so important that we all get behind this, and I know a lot of different entities are looking at ways to support this project, and they need a lot of money. So if you want more information, you should go to the SSPO Facebook page, and you can rewatch the meeting and the presentation. What else? The next SSPO meeting is Friday. Do you know what's happening, Inga?
They're having somebody from Whiteford's parent group talk, and then is it Top Flight Soccer?
Oh, yeah, the
He's
guys.
gonna come talk.
Yep, I have it, because they were supposed to come last time, and they didn't. Okay. Communications, we got our newsletter out. Next one's not till spring, right? Communicating well, I think that's all about. And you were out for a meeting, taking care of your knee. Good.
It looks cozy out.
Yeah, it does.
Isn't it pretty? I don't have any things to report.
Okay. No, I don't think I have anything to add. Okay. All right. This is our opportunity for public participation for non-agenda items. And we do have somebody, yay. That must be you, Trussell.
Yes.
All right, so you got 3 minutes.
All right, where should I stand?
You stand wherever you want.
Perfect, I'll stand here then.
Okay.
All right, I can say my address too, correct?
Yep, go ahead, say your address.
Hi everyone, my name is Trussell Holton. My address is 5005 Valencia Drive, Toledo, Ohio 43623. I'm currently a senior at Northview High School, and I came to this school board meeting today because I wanted to talk to you all about student mental health, which is a topic that I think everyone here values pretty highly and respects as an issue of great importance. But the problem with student mental health in our district is there's still a great stigma around it, especially among the different students, and especially in some of the buildings, which there's clearly been many issues in efforts by teachers and counselors to go forth and improve the environment that the students are living in. But there's still there's still a lot of disturbance within the student population. Every day at school, I see my classmates struggling, whether that's in terms of academic struggle, emotional struggle, social struggle, and those things are normal, right? That's part of growing up, that's part of being a student. But a lot of that, I think, can be attributed to how the students are interacting with each other and how the students are interacting with their classroom environment. So what I wanted to suggest was bringing back something that the school board helped sponsor and promote last year, which was the Student Mental Health Task Force, which I was a part of that group. I know Ms. Lavalette came and looked at a couple of our meetings. Mr. Stephen Kwiatkowski, who's a social studies teacher at Northview, was also one of our leaders. And we worked with a number of students from Northview and Southview across the district. The general idea of the task force was to focus on promoting the student perspective and addressing student mental health concerns. Because clearly, we can have organizations from teachers focused on mental health, we can have organizations from parents focused on mental health, but the best group to understand what's happening to the students mental health wise is probably going to be the students, because they're going to be able to voice their own perspectives. So, not necessarily pulling back the same organization as we did last year, but I would like to ask the school board to consider reinstating a group or similar organization of students so that student perspectives and student voices on mental health can be heard, whether that's in a consulting standpoint or an advisement standpoint perhaps, maybe even coming to a school board meeting every once in a while and providing an update on student mental health conditions in their schools, just to make sure that we can serve as a conduit for student beliefs and student ideas. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think you did a great job.
You
That was
did.
a nice presentation, and it's a great idea. And I don't even have to turn around to know that you're already
It's
on
in the
board. So somebody, whether it's Dr. Motley or Mr. Pinocchio, will probably be in touch with you to get that moving, right? I know I'm speaking for you because you were behind me. I could feel you. Yes. So to do
When I
a
turn
great
around
job.
and get the book to write it in the book and it goes, it's done. Thank you.
Thank you, Tristan.
And I saw Mr. Pugh go like this behind you
Oh,
too, so
hey, for what it's worth, I think it's an outstanding idea.
agree.
I think we spend a lot of time as adults trying to penetrate the kid world, and mental health, especially right now, is especially prevalent. So for a group of, for a group of kids to basically get together and say, hey, we want to have that voice. I mean, I'm all in favor for it.
Why did the task force? How did it go away?
I think just the school year ended.
Yeah, that was the biggest issue. It was mostly comprised of senior students, which I think was the biggest issue. There wasn't a lot of trickle down through the grades. I was one of the fewer non-seniors within the organization.
Who initiated the group?
Probably there's just strategic plan, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know if it's
No,
like.
I think it was Mr. Kwiatkowski and
Yeah.
Mrs. Omi.
Yeah,
I believe it was
I think that they kind of helped
um,
facilitate it, absolutely.
Yeah, but it was definitely a conversation between the principals of both schools. And
We
then
were in
of course,
support of it, both Southview and Northview.
But
were.
was this a student
I think it was
initiated?
yeah.
Because I know we didn't initiate it, so
Yeah, I think it was a student initiated. I
Okay.
think it probably comes through discussion. So when, to Tristel's point, Mr. Kwiatkowski is a great social studies teacher, so I'm sure that these are topics that come up that start discussions. Mrs. Omi is very active in our NHS kids, our media center, so she sees like all the kids that are coming through. So I think that's sort of how it organically came up through discussions among students. And then both Mrs. Omi and Mr. Kwiatkowski were just all on board to kind of get administrative support. And they met a couple of times. I think they did one time where you guys went over to Southview,
Yeah.
and then there was one time where they came over to Northview.
Yeah, and the reason I brought it up to the school board specifically is because I think the most impactful way, maybe not just the organic sort of take that we took last year, the most impactful way for students to affect the process would probably be to communicate straight with the people who are making the decisions. So
Yeah,
that'd be
I
the best way to make
We
sure
would love that. I loved your idea
Yeah.
to come and, present to us and let us know. Because,
That would be
I mean,
amazing.
we sit here and we do policy and we vote on all these things and you see all the stuff that we do, but I think, I don't want to speak for all my colleagues, but I think I can on this, like, the most impactful thing we feel is like when I go into a building or I see, things students are doing or talk to students, I think that, like, that's the impact, that's why we're all here, right? And so I think we would love that. And so, just love it.
Perfect.
And I think one of the things that we need to make sure that we do, Trestle, because now you too are a senior.
Yes.
And so we want to make sure that we intentionally think about sustainability. So it doesn't go away with each group of seniors or with students, but how can we continue the work instead of having it disappear or have to be brought up again, and that person leaves because you are moving on to the next part of your journey. So we'll definitely need to incorporate that.
Well, yeah, we need to recruit all those stressed out little freshmen. Not that I know, I'm not speaking of a specific one. Not at all, just saying. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tressel.
Okay, so now I need to make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing the compensation of a public employee, and we will not take action after the meeting.
Second.
Okay, call the roll.
Kim,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jill.
I want to add email address.